Hey everyone, Steve here from 11ish, a channel where we talk about lucrative investment strategies and opportunities based on the requests from the 11ish collective. Today we're going to talk about DoorDash. We're going to talk about why DoorDash is a very attractive investment opportunity. Then we're going to talk about the risks. You'll get an opportunity to weigh the pros and cons, and then I'm going to share with you my personal approach regarding DoorDash as an investment opportunity. If this is the type of video you've been looking for, please hit that like button for me, and let's get started. So if you didn't know, DoorDash is primarily a food, alcohol, and grocery delivery service. It is incredibly popular in millennials. According to their SEC, 70% of millennials are now willing to accept delivery services, I suppose both working for them and also using them, but DoorDash is one of them, one of the most popular options out there. It is highlighted that they make $1.9 billion in revenue and have only lost $150 million in the same period. That is incredibly profitable. That is essentially on the borderlines of they're only losing money because they choose to, so that they can scale up faster. With 1 million Dashers and 18 million customers, depending on your source, you'll get about 30% to 50% of the market share owned by DoorDash. Especially during COVID, where either you're high risk or have a little bit of disposable income, DoorDash is very handy for you. You stay away from people, they have good COVID-free policies, and you just get stuff delivered to you. That being said, DoorDash has been growing for years before that. They have incredible market fit, and COVID has just accelerated all of that. And there's also something to be said about DoorDash unlocking a new experience for foodies. For example, Din Tai Fung is a very famous Chinese restaurant that is very inaccessible because there's usually lines out the door, right? But now you can actually have that delivered to you. That is amazing. That is an experience that most people may not easily have because, you know, their personal availability or they don't want to wait in line. Now they have that open for them. Or you can have food delivered to you because sometimes you're not comfortable being in a super diverse restaurant, let's say, right? And this is an opportunity for you to try super ethnic food without feeling personally awkward. It'll give you an opportunity to try food that is a little bit farther away from you. DoorDash has opened the doors for a lot of food experiences. And also there's a lot of food in, frankly, not so great neighborhoods. And especially if you're like, you know, trying food on a date, you might not be comfortable in those situations. Now you can have the food delivered to you. And again, this is just new ways for you to experience, you know, the foodie experience that you couldn't have easily before. And lastly, between DoorDash, Postmarks, Uber Eats, all of these solutions I've personally used, I've stuck with DoorDash because they frankly have a better solution. The user experience is just better. It's not perfect, but you know, the search, the tracking, and the overall delivery experience itself is very well organized. The review themselves have been very helpful as well. And so overall, I highly recommend DoorDash myself. And I'm not sponsored by it, right? I wish they'll sponsor me. Anyway, that being said, there are quite a few risks. The number one risk is that it's not like before. There is a ton of competition for food, grocery, and alcohol delivery services. Yes, I definitely believe that DoorDash is the king of the hill right now, but just one example, Uber Eats have very deep pockets because it's part of Uber. And why is that problematic? Well, they're charging a premium on top of the delivery service, rightfully so, right? And so I can see the possibility of a price war between all of these delivery services. The consumer will win in the end, but profitability will suffer, especially after COVID, when people aren't necessarily almost forced into delivery services. So that's my biggest concern. That being said, I think there's always a space for delivery service. There are plenty of people who, once they've experienced the convenience of delivery and trying new food that they couldn't have tried before and etc., they're gonna stick to it. But will they order as often as they currently do? I highly doubt it. I sure as hell wouldn't if COVID was not a situation, and vaccines and legitimate treatment options, they're coming, right? That's undeniable. Something also to think about is the fact that there are a ton of options internationally as well, outside of DoorDash. And so what I'm saying there is, how much additional expansion is there to be had? That's hard to judge, especially internationally, because it's hard for a US company to be accepted internationally as well. The growth strategy is slightly questionable. How much additional market is there left in the United States? That's slightly questionable as well. I do think that there's definitely going to be an opportunity for strong growth in the next 6 to 12 months. But going forward, right? How far are you forward looking, and how long do you plan on holding this investment? Those are serious considerations you have to look at, think about. I think the only legitimate way to think about, how this business will move forward is that, like Uber, they're going to have to think about expanding into other delivery channels. Presumably that's why they're called DoorDash and not Food Dash, right? That's how they presumably went into grocery delivery and alcohol delivery. But how far can they extend into those services, right? Because there are niche services for things like, delivery for pharmacy. You'll be competing more directly against Amazon at certain points. And also, even in the restaurant business, if a restaurant is making a lot of money off of DoorDash, they'll see that. It'll be obvious that delivery services are working for them, and they'll start delivering direct. They'll start offering direct competition, and that has already started happening. It will by no means eliminate DoorDash, but it will definitely cut into their bottom line. So again, something to think about, because that will be significant once COVID ends, in my opinion. What would I do in this situation? Well, generally speaking, with IPOs, I tend to not invest in them in the first 3 to 6 months, because their first quarter earnings is super important that they knock it out of the park, because it sets the precedence for the rest of the earnings, their public appearance. That's kind of a hit or miss these days. Secondly, after 6 months, that's where employees have the opportunity to sell off, to cash in. That usually causes another sell-off. And so I tend to invest in opportunities after that. I think DoorDash is one of those opportunities that will have to and will knock it out of the park in the next 3 to 6 months, being that COVID is not getting better, right? That being said, I think Airbnb is a better investment opportunity, and that is also a brand new IPO that's coming up. They own much more of the market share, and I think that is a much more exciting investment opportunity. Because the competition is so heavy, and yet I like DoorDash as something I use personally so much, I will probably invest a little bit, but not much. I will much rather invest in Airbnb. What are your thoughts about this? How would you invest in this opportunity? I would love to hear back from you. And if you have other opportunities that you want me to talk about, please leave a comment, because ultimately that's what this channel is about. All right, I hope this video has proved helpful. Please hit that like button if you haven't already. Thanks for watching, and I look forward to working with you next time.